what is the perception out there of radio today? Now, looking at some of these headlines I've got up on the screen, you'd think radio was going by the way of dinosaurs, and these are actual headlines, recent headlines that have been in print and online. And it's always amazing to me to read some of these headlines or speak with people who have this belief that radio is kind of going by the wayside and it's not going to be around much longer. So what do we do and how are we going to combat that? And of course, remember, just because someone says it, prints it, or posts it, it doesn't mean that it's true. So as you know, the reality is so very different. Radio is alive, and it's well, and it's experiencing yet another evolution in its very, very long life. People continue to tune in, they connect, and they engage with radio. And each of you sees it every day with all of the radio stations that you represent and with the music and artists that you service and introduce through radio. Radio listeners are tuning in via devices and platforms and social media and in the car. And the list goes on and on and on. And these are very, very simple facts, but it's so worth reminding ourselves. And I love that. Think about it. It's the top source, electronic source for music discovery. Still, even with all the choices. It's the most listened to audio source. It's the greatest share of ear. And in the car, for millennials, we all hear, oh, millennials aren't listening to radio, where they are listening to radio. We're their number one source. And when you look across the board at all that's available today for everyone, it shouldn't surprise any of us in this room the actual number of hours people spend with radio in a week. Now, this is just a snapshot of all the media options that people consume weekly. And even with all of these digital options available, like a smartphone or video on the net, radio still surpasses. But perhaps that's why radio is so powerful in increasing the efficiency and reach of all other media.